Hello, 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 and welcome back to the StrawHatLucas YouTube channel. It's me, StrawHatLucas, and joined, of course, as always, by my brother, my partner in crime, Cube of the Red Sea. How are we doing today, Cube?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Oh, dude, I'm excited. We're about to talk about some peak. Peak. More
Guys.
peak than whiskey peak. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm sorry, I had to.
Yeah. Bad puns aside, guys, we waited 3 long years for the One Piece live action season 2 to premiere, and it did not disappoint. We are going to be going through each episode today, me and Cube, giving our thoughts on every aspect of the series that we can think of. If there's any moments we are not talking about that you want to hear our opinions on, make sure you drop them in the chat, of course. We have a lot of ground to cover, 8 hours of television. 8 hours of peak television, by the way. Before we get into the series, I do want to know, what's your overall score of the season? Just to get it out of the way. Rip that Band-Aid off.
Okay. So from between 1 and 10, I give it a score of a girl whale. No, I'm just kidding.
It's a girl whale.
You know what? For me, it's between a 7.5 and an 8. I have certain issues. That's my problem. So I'm between both of them. But I do think that for me, a 7 is a 6 is the minimum, and a 7 is when they did a really good job. And then between 7 and 8 is overall, it's a good that has valid criticism on certain stuff. So yeah, between 7 and 8.
I give it an 8. An 8. I think it hit the 8 threshold for me overall. There were some things I was like about, you know what I mean. But other than that, also I got to shout out real quick some goats in the chat: Kusa, Land, Dexter, Will of Dreams. But of course, the bestest person in the whole One Piece community, Miss 3-Day a Trip in the chat. Oh,
no,
we love to see it. We love to see it so much. 3-Day, we love you. So glad to see you active. Yeah, so let's start out then with Logetown, which they started out the gate changing things with Baroque Works agents Miss All Sunday, Mr. 5, and Miss Valentine going into the Shellstown military base to recover the body of Mr. 7. I like this change a lot. I think it set up the villain of Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, who, let's be real, quick shout outs real fast. I have the wiki pulled up so I can get everyone's actors and actresses' names correct. Quick shout out to Cameron Johnson and Jazara Jaslin, who played Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine respectively. They nailed this performance, I think. I think it was spectacular, and them showing them off in the first episode like this really kind of set them up as the overarching villains of the season up into a certain point. You know what I mean? So I did like this change a lot. Then we saw the Straw Hats for the first time, which I don't know about you, but I felt all ooey gooey again about it. Sanji, Usopp, Taz, and Jacob Gibson, whatever he goes. He changed his name 3 times in between now and season 1, but they both were just perfect right out the gate. I think the reintroduction to the crew and who they are, Nami doing her navigator thing, Usopp tinkering with stuff, I think it was the Pepper Stars, wasn't it?
No, but I have to say something. Yeah, you have to give it as when they were introduced, specifically, Taz, Emily, and Jacob playing Sanji, Nami, and Usopp. I'm sorry, that introduction to if they're gonna go to Logtown or not was so Straw Hat coded. They all were the gag between Usopp being upset with Sanji by offering to go there, and the way Sanji knew how to get to Nami, and then you can see Nami's mind changing because of doing some shopping. It's very coded on their interactions. One of my favorite gag in the Straw Hats isn't Zoro and Sanji or those kind of stuff, or Chopper, Nami, and Usopp. For me, one of them, my favorite, is basically the bickering of Sanji and Usopp. Usopp is always brave when it comes to calling out Sanji on his BS. Yeah, and I really like that. It's a callback to that. So.
The whole line with the "damn you" with your chiseled jaw lines and your ocean eyes, that made me laugh so hard, actually. Kuso getting excited for 3 Day in the chat. I know, Kuso, I've not stopped smiling since you jumped in. I've missed 3 days so much. We love you so much, 3-Day. It's so good to see you active. Yeah, they do have such great chemistry. I have to agree. I think Usopp, Jacob, he really stepped up his performance throughout the entire season, if I'm honest. And like you said, they convinced Nami. They go to Logtown. And the shopping, like, just to get this out of the way, the shopping stuff was great. I don't know if you noticed, but one, they teased Dragon way early. Like, the shadowy figure in the alley, like, looking out. But when Usopp is like, I need to get something, and he goes and gets the goggles, the little girl he's talking to is the daughter of Daddy Masterson. It's like, just to like call that back, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, no, not even that. The daughter, I think it's Koze, and then I think Raul. I tell to people this is very important because this is the first like real non-canon characters. Do we know that Oda kind of said they could have been in the story, but like the manga never brought them back in, so we actually got
even the
canon.
fishmonger
really.
that he got the bluefin tuna from was like brought in for like the
exactly
stuff,
as well,
which was awesome. Awesome shit. Smoker's introduction hit a lot better in the show. Like, I even made a TikTok making fun of the whole fish out my hole thing, but the way they mixed the music when they released that clip of him was terrible. But it hit a lot better in the show. I will say that's my first gripe I have with season 2 is Smoker's hair was too white. It should have had some gray tint to it or something. It distracted me for the first few times I saw him. Callum Kerr, though, who I was super on the fence about as an actor portraying Smoker in the series. And I do want to say this, I forgot to say this at the beginning of the stream. Spoilers for future stuff in One Piece. Me and Kube are caught up, so we're going to be talking about things. But when they first introduced Smoker and everything, you know, I wasn't too sure about Callum Kerr doing him as a character, but he nailed it. I thought he did awesome as Smoker. They did really good on the Logia effects as well, which we'll get to that in a bit when we talk about the fight. But
I will say something about the Smoker. So even you don't like it, the whole white thing. I like it because my problem I have with the anime is that we know about. That's why people were shocked at how young the actor they casted, and a lot of people think that Smoker is supposed to be in his 50s. I like they went the full white thing because it explains that the anime made it grayish white, but he actually has white hair. He's not an older person. So that's why I do like it. Yeah, 3-Day the Smoker was so good, and I will lie, we're gonna go into it later on, but we're gonna talk more in details. But I think they did a better fight, Smoker versus Luffy, than in the anime or manga.
Ooh, yeah, when we get to the fight, we're going to have to talk about that. Before we get there, though, let's talk about the next big change the live action threw at us. Actually, 2 changes. First up is Garp and Roger. When we get to Logtown, we get the flashback of Garp and Roger talking about Roger's son. And once again, spoilers, if anybody, which I don't think anybody in chat right now is, but just in case anybody watching this is live action only, we are going to be talking about things. But he talks 3, 2, 1 with Roger about Ace, about his son. I have to say I'm very disappointed in the overall One Piece community because all of the live action onlys who are like, who could be his son? Is it Luffy? Instead of letting them enjoy cooking their first One Piece theory, everyone's spoiling it for them and saying, like, telling them who it is and stuff like that, which I know I just did, but I've been giving spoiler warnings. That's, at least I tried to. I forgot to at the beginning. Once again, sorry. But nonetheless, like, I don't like when the One Piece community, it's such a negative aspect of the community as a whole. And it doesn't happen often, but the fact that it does sucks. I have a buddy who's going through the series right now, just finished Thriller Bark, saw Nothing Happen like 2 nights ago. So he... right after watching the live action was messaging me. I think I know who Luffy's or Ace or Roger's son is. It's either this character or somebody that had to introduce. And then, like, not even 2 or 3 hours after that, he messaged me. He was like, TikTok ruined it. Somebody in the comments spoiled for me who it was. And it's like, oh, dude, that's so terrible. But that said, I think the inclusion of the scene was great. I think Roger's actor really nailed it, and they leaned into his sickly appearance, which I thought was wonderful. And with them already, like, casting Ace's actor, I will say that he does look like Roger's actor a little bit. Like, there's the picture of Crocus and Roger in Crocus's office in episode 2, which we'll get to. But like Zolo looks like Roger's actor completely. Like it's wild. It's wild.
So I don't have much with this, but Nak is bringing a good point, which is a bit further in this episode, but I do want to address it.
We can talk about it now,
Yeah, okay. So the reason why Nak, because I do it, so Nak is talking about the stuff he does about Tashigi is that storyline with Robin trying to recruit him, right? And this is why I'm very conflicted about this, because even though it never happened, so yeah, it's like a crazy story. It's just I've said about season 1, it does feel like they know something about the Marine storyline. And I want to remind people that when we were in Alabasta, Tashigi knew exactly who Robin was. She was the one who name dropped her real name. And Robin was shocked by that, you know. So I am wondering if they're building on that. Like, basically, because of that storyline in Alabasta, it's the only thing. But I do agree that it is my problem with the Robin. Overall, Robin storyline is really good, but there are some changes to Robin on the effect. And I'm wondering if it's just them doing their own thing, or is it something that Oda told them? So that's why I just send Nak's issue.
Maybe Robin is how Sword comes into play with the Straw Hats. Maybe maybe she gives them a speech about Ohara or something like that, and that's kind of what gets Sword to sway. That'd be interesting, actually.
And
very
interesting.
Yeah,
the dynamic of Smoker and Tashigi is
backwards.
It is too very. Yeah, it's backwards. I do agree on that.
They've reversed it, which isn't bad. Like, that's kind of a common trope when you adapt something, is to like take two characters and reverse their relationship a little bit. So I'm not mad at that. I do think it's a little weird because he's her superior, but once again, I'm not angry about it by any means. Yeah, facts. Net. I hate Netflix, but the show was great. Yeah. To continue, the second change will lead us into the bigger main 2 points of this entire episode. This big change is Bartolomeo being in Logtown, which we know canonically he was there from his introduction in Dressrosa, but bringing him in, having him interact with Nami, who's like, if you're gonna pick a mark, pick something who's out of town tourist and blah blah blah, and he goes and finds Luffy, like, brilliant. And then Luffy asking him, like, what's your dream? And he's like, well, I've never really thought about that before. It went really well. And obviously, with Bartolomeo leading Luffy to the Executioner's platform, we got the amazing return of Jeff Ward as Buggy, or as Luffy called him, Bunny, which I thought was hilarious. Like, one of the best bits in this first episode. What did you think of Buggy and Alvida?
Buggy is, for me, he was good in season 1. Season 2 was just, it was barely there, but he was good. Like, Jeff Ward, I know from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so I like the actor, so his acting is not a problem for me. I did like the Alvida was interesting, but what I like is the Delfoot effect. It was really good.
Really? You thought interesting.
Yeah, I liked it. Because that's how it is in the... because people forget that a lot of the powers in One Piece are cartoony. And it did give the cartoony vibe, especially the way she was swinging around him. That was how she did it. Like, it works well in the anime and manga. But
it did look a little silly, and it broke my suspension of disbelief for a little bit. But it was interesting. I thought the way that they did the attack sliding off her was fucking awesome. The sliding around on her feet wasn't that good, but then the way they defeated her, peak One Piece. That's 100%. Peak One Piece. Yeah, Dak, it's the corniest part of the show, but I'm gonna be honest. Peak fucking One Piece. That's like peak One Piece.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, I tell people, if you really look at some of the build, later on we can talk about Chopper's form, the same thing. But if you actually look at it, if you actually look at how Oda designs them in the manga, there is that very cartoony Disney vibe to the drawings. You know what I mean? So I like that it was. Like, it's not, for me, it's supposed to be imperfect. Certain stuff have to be imperfect for it to be One Piece. That's the point of One Piece, so that's why I did like how they did it.
She just needed to bend her knee. It's hilarious, Kuso. I enjoyed the Alvida stuff a lot. I really enjoyed Judge Buggy. I thought that was hilarious. And then him, obviously, on the Executioner platform, which I know has been kind of a controversial standpoint for some fans. Some people really enjoyed it. Some people really did not. I personally loved it. I thought Inaki killed it the whole, I'm dead, and then laughing crazily. It's very uneasy laughter, which I think is what Nika is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be joyful laughter. Like, it's supposed to be like kind of maniacal. And I think Anaki kind of did that very well. And with some of the stuff they showed within the next few episodes, I think using that as a way to foreshadow that is actually really a sound idea, if that is what they were doing.
And we have to give props to Iñaki, but this only happened because I saw a TikTok short. Someone analyzed in the anime how, and in the manga, how Luffy laughs in Gear 5. It's very similar. The face he was doing when he was laughing, it's very similar to Luffy's hysterical face. So I'll give back to Inaki that he really did his I mean, we know now that he's like, he knows the story by heart because he's reread Red. Now he knows the story he's weekly. But he did more than that. He did the actual research to the facial expression is where it is. There's something where his mouth and his eyes, the way they switch, is exactly like he does when he first goes Gear 5. And, you know, in Wano, and he starts laughing, hiding his eyes. It's very similar to that, the way his body's moving. So we got to give him props for that, for the research.
Yeah, he did. Like I said, I think he did accept it, Nak. I don't think the laughter and the way he was doing it, like, I think the crying to his eyes was like, holy shit, this is what a funny way to end this. You know what I mean? But I think the lightning hitting Buggy, like, for the saving moment, and then him being like, not again, was great. I need to know, when was Buggy hit by lightning and exploded before? Because if it's happened more than once, when did it happen? But it was, I really like it. I really, really, really enjoyed that.
But
and then Barto,
I will give.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing I'll give props, because even though, like, the one thing I like they did the big change with Smoker is they made him more of a douche, which is, you know, like when Tashigi later on says that Smoker doesn't like that people talk about dreams. Like, that's the Smoker we were introduced, but much more harsher. But I have to give props to the actor. In the anime and the manga, they give like a flashback of seeing Luffy and Roger side by side. What I like about it is he sold it without doing that by his face. Like, his face changed completely. Like, you could see that he didn't see him as a hunter. You really saw like he was astonished, and then he really said Roger. And so you have that connection with Roger. And then, you know, obviously he tells, you know, he was there as a kid, but I think he did a really good job because he had no, like, it's not like the manga anime where there was something that showed us like that's what he was seeing. You understood it by his view. It was something like, you know, inspiring.
Yeah. 3 days ago, I was a little confused as to how Luffy gets knocked out with blunt force and Buggy blows up without being sliced. That's very fair. Yeah. Maybe he blew up as a self-defense mechanism, like, because instead of letting the lightning course through his body, he split it apart so it dispersed faster. Luffy getting knocked out, I think, if I'm being honest, I think it's a call to... Alvida does one-shot Luffy in Logtown. People forget that, but she does. She gets him hard enough that he fucking passes out. So I think it's a call to that. So this brings us to the highlight of the episode, in my opinion, the fight between Luffy and Smoker. This was insane.
Oh my god.
I think they nailed it. The
that was so good.
Sanji looking on in terror at Smoker just standing there smoking his cigars while Luffy is fucking gatlining him and it's not doing a goddamn thing was so good. I thought this fight was so well done. And Smoker like stretching Luffy and shooting him into the ground and stuff. Like it, chef's kiss to the special effects team for this. And the fight coordination, like whoever came up with the whole fight, like just chef's kiss. It was perfect. I like this a lot more than even in the anime. No.
And I think the one thing that they added in that fight that was never there is him trying to suffocate him with smoke, which shows the threat that Smoker is.
Yeah.
It's the best way to get, because, you know, because obviously it's, if you think about it, people have only saw 8 episodes before that, so they don't, because of the goofy aspect of it, like we've had like, how many, it's 10 volumes by then, you know, there were 10 volumes that were released, so we understood like the threat in this world, like people are really dangerous with their foot abilities. It was a good way to showcase, you know, he could have died.
Yeah. It was really, really, really well done. It showed the threat that the Grand Line presents more so over than what the East Blue is, which is really what Smoker is supposed to do. But this does lead us into the introduction of Monkey D. fucking Dragon. Holy shit. What did you think of this performance from this actor? Oh, Cube muted up as soon as I
No,
asked
no,
him
no,
the
no, no,
question.
no, sorry, sorry. I was drinking. That's why I didn't want people to hear me drinking. I was saying I liked it, the moment, even the effect of him grabbing the hand. And I won't
Yeah.
lie, I think they did a good job at finding someone, someone who cast someone who is at the same time looks like he could be Inyaki's father loosely, but also does get the vibe of the original dragon.
Yeah.
It was a good mixture.
I need to see more acting from him. I'm not gonna lie. The first line he said, the whole "Who are we to stand in another man's path" or whatever it was, like he kind of like, I don't know, if just the delivery of that one line was kind of off to me, but the rest of it was great. He had the aura, he had the presence, and then when they saw him again when the Straw Hats had set out, I've watched the scene a couple times now. I'm positive that he's fucking crying. I know that there's rain and stuff like that, but if you look at his eyes, that dude's crying. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't heard anyone else talking about it, so I don't know if it's just me who's noticed it, or if it's my imagination, or if it's just the way the rain looks, or what, but I swear that dude is crying, looking out at the ship.
Yeah.
And then that obviously leads to who walks in behind him.
No. My goat has made it into the live action. The Emperor Flame himself, Sabo. Dude, I told Lucas, I was watching with a friend of Sly on we were doing a watch party here, just the two of us. And dude, because at first I thought I saw someone in the podium, with the crowd that looked like Sabo. And we know, for people who are wondering if it's just added to it, in Egghead in the flashback, we did find out that Saba went with Dragon to Lockdown. So I do also like that it was very fast. Like, it did make sense when I realized, oh, it's true, we recently found out about that. So I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was so happy that he was here.
I didn't even see him. I was so focused on the fact that Dragon was crying the first time I watched it that I didn't even see Sabo. And then someone in VC, our homie Who-Man, was like, Sabo showing up was wild. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I had to go on Netflix and go back and look at Sabo and be like, oh shit, Sabo's there? Which is wild because they focused on him on everything, but I was so enamored by Dragon and his performance and how he was staring off of that ship that I didn't even notice him. So that, it was a pretty wild Easter egg, and to confirm kind of that he was there at the executioner stands as well. It makes it question though, how did he not recognize Luffy? Just seeing Ace's picture and knowing Ace had died was enough to get Sabo to trigger his memory. But if he sees Luffy almost die, which we've confirmed now through two different sources that is the case, why did that not trigger his fucking memory?
But it's because it's the stuff that I said to people, like, he did talk about in Dressrosa, the death of Ace is what triggered it. He did emphasize on the death of Ace. So I do think, like, again, that's my one thing about One Piece, where when they do those storylines, I do think that it's very hard, because, amnesia storyline and stuff. So I do feel like there was something about Ace's death, but again.
The next arc we get into is Reverse Mountain. Episode 2 recovered all of this. The trip up and down Reverse Mountain was fantastic. I think that was one of the best, ways they could have handled that within this world. It felt massive. You felt like you were going up the mountain with them. The ship's steering system breaking, fucking beautiful. And then Nami later, when they're inside Laboon, being like, it's because of your beautiful big muscles. That's not a compliment. And he's like, it's not a compliment. Zoro, McKinney as Zoro, which we didn't touch on his the sword shop at all with Logtown for some reason. I think we started to segue to it and got distracted. I just will say real quick, fucking perfect. McKinney nailed it. His awkwardness with Tashigi was also great. I thought the whole thing was good. But just to get back to Reverse Mountain, what were your thoughts on the trail up and into the Grand Line, brother?
No, I liked it. Honestly, I liked it. It's a shame. I do think because of budget-wise, they just cannot do Gomu Gomu no Balloon. They can't do the balloon form. It's a shame he didn't do the balloon one, but like I said, and I won't lie to you, So that part is good, and then entering Laboon, I did not like the portrayal of Crocus, but I did like the shift of, he's not inside
you didn't like
doesn't live inside Laboon yet.
The actor being Crocus?
So my thing is that he had one side of Crocus, but you don't forget that Crocus there was a lot of humor in that character. Like his first introduction is, remember that joke he made to them, and then like say, yeah, we saw, like, the reaction to the Straw Hats. We're missing that, That's my thing.
He
my problem
kind of did it. Yeah. He kind of did it with the whole, like, I'm a Gemini, I'm 71 years old. Like, so I think they tried to include it a little bit, but it was hard with the changes they had to make with him not living inside Laboon. I thought he was good as Crocus. I thought it was hilarious when they did the flashback. And all right, let's just say this. Are we going to tackle Brooke and them first, or are we going to tackle Mr. 9 and Vivi first? I think we should do
No. Because we're talking about Zoro, we're going to end this because people in the chat talk about this. Let's be honest. My issue with McKenyu in season 1 and a bit in season 2, but is he has everything about Zoro except the goofiness aspect of him, or the stuff he says.
He really knows
when Nami says, you're talking about a uvula, and he takes like 3 seconds and just says,
you're saying girl.
So it's a girl. It's a girl whale. The face that Nami gives him is like, she has judged Luffy's intelligence, but I never seen her look at someone, Emily Rudd, the same way as it was hilarious.
Yeah,
it's so gold. It is so gold. The girl whale.
It was such a funny moment. Yeah, I do want to highlight that McKenyu really did knock it out of the park with this silly aspect of Zoro. This whole season, he had a couple other moments. I think the girl whale part, definitely the fucking highlight, but like that and that, you could buy me a drink first during Whiskey Peak, but we'll get to praising Zoro when we get to Whiskey Peak.
Fun fact, because I've been watching the cast interviews. It is what's called Jacob who plays Usopp. He says this is his favorite bit, and he's jealous that he's not the one who said it. He said it's the best. He said it's his favorite moment, and he says, "I'm so upset." The girl whale thing. And he explains basically that he was laughing when he says whenever he thinks of it, he just laughs completely like crazy. So yeah,
that's fucking wonderful. The fact it's a Monster House callback is just amazing. But like I said, there is a flashback with the Rumbar Pirates. Crocus does tell Luffy about them, and we saw Brooke. This is Oda's choice for Brooke. So if the live action gets the Thriller Bark, which I'm a fan of the theory that we're going to hit Marineford at least, because they wanted 6 seasons from the jump. But if it does, that means this is our Brooke. This is the guy we're going to get. This is Oda's choice. This is Brooke for the rest of the entire series. He was hired because he was a voice actor, not because of his act, and because he knew how to play the violin. And Oda was just like, this is it. This is the guy. This is the guy who fits the vibe. This is Brooke. I thought Yorkie was fucking great. The whole thing with the Rumbar Pirates was amazing. I won't lie. I cried pretty hard when Brooke was singing to Laboon, and they did the shot of baby Laboon crying in the water. Jesus Christ, live action team. Why? Why would you do that to me again?
Also, I'm going to say this, but this might be because it's how it is in One Piece, but let's not lie, Yorkie, definitely cool design, but dude, why does his red shorts look like a red diaper?
Listen, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't realize Yorkie was hot as fuck. Like,
I did.
Who would have guessed? Like, but it is interesting that I like that change is there for the live action only viewers, because think, like I said, if they do get to Thriller Bark and we get Brooke, watching the people who are only watching the live action put together that's who it is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fucking wonderful. And I like that they included that. Same with the Roger. This goes back to the Roger and Garp thing and them setting up Ace as Roger's son. For the live action onlys who don't get spoiled, it's gonna be fantastic. This is gonna be fantastic for them. Overall, they did change quite a bit of the Laboon storyline. While we're just talking about the Laboon stuff, let's get to this, and then we'll get to Mr. 9 and Vivi. Like how Luffy, instead of beating him up, he did Bink Sake. I love this. I love this change. I think it, like Dex said earlier in the chat, it's such a pleasant change, and to have him do the Nika dance while such a good bit of foreshadowing for the live action crew, and they're going to see that again in Skypiea and be like, that's the second time he's done that dance, and it's going to blow their minds when we hit Gear 5. If the live action, which I don't think it ever will, but if it ever did get to Gear 5, it would just blow their minds.
So, fun fact, do you know who else really liked that change?
Who? Oda? Yeah,
I got that from Hype Cage, or who's another guy who does stuff like that. Basically, he said that he likes it because when he heard about it, it's a change that I would have done.
Yeah,
he liked it because it's something that I would have done instead. So he did like as well. So I like it. I think
PETA
it makes.
approves.
PETA definitely approves. So it's like, but then again, and people for also the other side that changes like that. I do understand, because I said to people, if you have to do everything that Luffy and the Straw Hat have done, in terms of budget for the damage you have to create, would be too much. I do think so. Because let's not forget, same thing with Whiskey Peak, the damage. So I do understand where they have to be smart in a way with it,
Yeah, 100%. I agree. So that does lead us to the inside of the whale stuff, which I think the crew did really good in their dynamics. Sanji and Usopp together was hilarious. Which they kind of set up the stuff for Whiskey Peak with Usopp, with him having a conversation with Sanji about fear while they're looking for this piece of the ship that will help fix the rudder, or the steering, I should say. And
let's talk about
go ahead.
You talk about Miss Valentine and Mr. 5.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the stellar performance of Mr. 9 that made him even a better. Listen, it's obviously the manga anime is good, but he was so much more. Even though you did not,
he was so charismatic.
Charismatic. Like I said, he did a better effect of the character than the manga and the live action for me. Like, I didn't really care for Mr. 9, and I was interested to see him. Even though I know where he was going, he was such a good actor, so good.
Yeah.
And keeping the Fingal baby as well, him and the Miss Wednesday. Oh, that was perfect.
Bye bye, baby. Yeah, that was really good. My camera messed up for a second. Yeah, that was good. Him, and then the fucking him being like, I've been in this well for days. It's not my fault I'm not at full strength, or whatever it was he said to fucking Sanji. It's just a really weirdly dressed man.
And let's give it up to the Vivi actress, because I keep forgetting her name, but I know you're gonna say it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, Sharita
for me, Sharita. This one I found out is the first scene that she ever filmed for the live action is her introduction when she fights with Nami. It's actually her first scene on the whole filming. So,
bro,
which I've said this.
The Peacock slashers. Both of them.
Even,
oh my god.
Even Nami, like, I'm sorry, Emily Rudd, because apparently she did a lot of the major stunts on it as well. Emily Rudd having to imitate how she was being thrown around is also, like, she sold it with her face, That moment when she grabs her leg and she just twists her around, and you could see from Emily Rudd when she falls on her back that, like, she's dizzy.
She looks scared. She looks scared too. They sold that fight so well.
Yeah.
And then her breaking to Nami about the log pose, and them setting up Crocus giving it to her and stuff like that, like, was really good. And like Crocus kind of telling Nami not to doubt herself as a navigator. That was really a really touching addition to the live action. I think they just did all the crew moments so well in this, if I'm being honest. And then Vivi as well, kind of setting up how Miss Wednesday would turn out when she helps pull Usopp back onto the ship. That was super well done as well. But that does bring us to Whiskey Peak. Miss Wednesday and Mr. 9 swim away to an island. And that is where the Straw Hats go. And as we all know, the whole island is nothing but bounty hunters. Which, I gotta say this real quick.
Wait, there's one thing that I really liked, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
How to push on the connection with Roger. That photo was so good.
Yeah,
that photo of Crocus and Roger at the end. For people who don't know the story.
Him saying to Luffy, too, the whole, you remind me of someone, and he wouldn't shut up either.
Yeah.
What were you saying about the
just
photo?
2 seconds. Yeah, 2 seconds, because Srida said she has an issue with Netflix. Srida, if you go on Discord, I sent you by DM a link for you to watch it without going on Netflix to watch the live
we
action.
got you. We got you, 3D.
Yeah,
don't you worry.
Yeah, send you by DM on Discord, so just check it out. Sorry, but yeah. So yeah, Whiskey Peak. I'll be honest with you guys. I want to jump first. I had a problem with the Ingram casting. Again, it wasn't.
It was a racial thing.
More like
Kube lie.
Yeah.
He's a very big racist.
Because he's a very broad character, and I did feel like he's very, fit. Yeah, fit, but more in the slim aspect, Yeah. But I won't lie, his interaction with Vivi, the way he acted, and there's a moment where all the battle goes, the way his facial expression is 1-to-1 to Igaram. Oh yeah, dude. Yes, Dexter, I'm a pirate. That's for sure. So yeah, sorry, but that's my point of. So I was someone who was hesitant about him.
Yeah,
I was hesitant about him, but
he knocked it out of the park.
For someone who was hesitant about that casting, sold it in 1 episode. Not even that, after 10 minutes and stuff like that.
And then
mama. Sorry.
I mean, Whiskey Peak played out pretty much. They cut the Luffy Zoro fight, which I'm gonna be honest, that was my biggest problem with Whiskey Peak. Was I thought the fight was stupid between him and Luffy was just like, you got these people helped us for one night, blah blah blah. Which it sets up a fundamental side of Luffy where if someone feeds him, he's gonna give him respect. But at the same time, he didn't even let Zoro ever explain to him what was going on. So I'm glad they cut that fight. I won't lie. One thing I wanted to say too is this cinematic shot of all of the pirates' graves atop the peaks. Oh my god. Yeah. That was so good. And they really kind of leaned into the horror aspect of all the bounty hunters. McKinney, I was about to bring, that's crazy, Kuso. Right as I was about to bring it up, you said in chat. McKinney said that he knew fans were going to count. Yeah. So he made sure that he fought 100, and the fight was fucking amazing. Miss Monday coming out and beating the brakes off of Zoro was one of the hypest moments of the entire season for me. That was so fucking good. What were you going to say,
I'll be honest with you as well. And people are going to be upset with that maybe, but I think the fight sequences is 100 times better in live action, because I like it in manga and the anime, but it's unrealistic with some of the moves he did. They managed to make it very believable. The way he was going on those ropes and chains, doing those stuff. Because if you look at it, sometimes he's just taking stuff that are very light that he could break in 2 seconds and do crazy flips in the anime manga, which makes sense. But in real life, it would have been cartoony. Like he's using Awakening or something. So I won't lie, it was really good. I'll be honest with you, they could have done it for an extra 5 more minutes and I would have loved it. Yeah. I think it's no joke. The last time I've been so hyped for fight sequences like that and you find it would be crazy, but for me it's Revenge of the Sith. It's very
one of the, I got the same vibe as a kid. Choreographed fight. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, all the fights with the lightsabers, I got the same emotion as a kid. I felt like a kid watching this fight. It was so good. Yeah. Yes. What did you think overall about the fight?
I thought, the fight was just spectacular, and then leading up to the brawl with him and Mr. Nine, which once again, Daniel Lasker, fantastic job as Mr. Nine after the fight too, with him and Miss Valentine. And he'd been like, even if you kill me, I'm not going to betray her. She's my partner. That
was might have not been loyal, but I am. That was amazing.
Exactly. It was so well done. I cannot praise him enough. I hope that he's not actually dead, and we do get a hint at him and Miss Monday having their kid eventually. That would be really cool to see. But the live action does seem to be taking death a bit more serious, as we saw with Igaram. And
and Mary's dead.
Mary as well in the first season.
I think the fake out will not work in live action. It does get away with manga anime because of the medium. It will not work in live action. It would lose also momentum. Yeah.
And
I do.
I have to praise Charithra Chandran again, because the performance of Miss Wednesday here, when she's screaming and crying about Igaram, and she goes to Nami and Nami clutches her tight, and then she turns around and is just like, I'm Princess Nefertari Vivi of the Alabasta Kingdom. It broke me. I'm getting kind of goosebumpy right now even thinking about her performance in that moment specifically sold me entirely. I was like, this is She had already killed it in episode 2, but this right here, I was like, this is Vivi, 100%. This is Princess Vivi of Alabasta. This is the diplomat of the Straw Hat crew. This is our girl.
Yeah, that's my princess.
That's my princess right there. That's my princess right there, 100%. That she nailed it so much. And that leads us to the next arc, episodes 4 and 5. Little Garden. Oh God, you were right to try to mute last time. We just heard the slurp so bad.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mute up.
You were slurping like Brogy slurping that beer in Little Garden, bruh.
Yeah, because it's a medicine I'm taking for people. I just came out of a stomach virus, so
3 day.
So I have to take the medicine. Yeah. So.
I was also sad about Karu not being there, but her mentioning it with Vivi, which this was also just I know this is skipping around a lot and getting into the Little Garden discussion, but her getting on top of the dinosaur with Luffy was a really good, but she's like, we're running from bounty hunters. How do you just do this? Like, you know what I mean? And he's like, we're on top of a dinosaur. You know what I mean? She's like, oh, in Alabasta, we ride ducks. My duck companion is Karu. He's back home in Alabasta, which means we will see him in season 3. But I was sad we didn't get him through Whiskey Peak and stuff like that. Cause let's be real, our duck boy is just as much as a Straw Hat as Vivi is. We love Karu.
But, wait. Hold up. You forgot about something.
What?
Something very important before
Little Garden. Miss all Sunday.
All Sunday
on
pulling
the
up
fucking Straw Hats. Oh my God.
No,
dude.
guys. I'm sorry. Her introduction at the end of episode 3. Go look at the manga panel.
It is perfect.
The way she was holding her head. It is 1-to-1.
It is
literally a cover.
Her fucking just stealing the hat from Luffy, putting it on top of the cowboy hat was iconic. Her fucking disarming, get what I did there, Zoro, and like taking Sanji, like it was just so well. Lyra Abova, I haven't had the chance to talk about my main squeeze, my main girl, Nico Robin yet. I was kind of going to save that for the end, but I just have to real quick. Lyra Abova, you nailed it. As someone whose favorite Straw Hat is Nico Robin, I think you're bringing the vibes of her femme fatale kind of introduction to the series so hard, and I cannot wait to see her perform as like actual Robin. Like this, it's gonna be insane. The season 3 is gonna be fucking nuts, dude. Lyra nailed it.
And what I think is, I'll give it up. I know it's not live action; they were accurate to the manga, but thank God that after because for people know what happened. I mean, we could talk spoilers after Alabasta when Robin joins them. It's a good thing because this is the end of the live action of season 2. But a lot of people, when they heard her name drop, they said, oh wait, we know that character, we've heard that character, we've seen her bounty pictures, those kind of stuff. But they talk about her outfit is different, so that's why they didn't connect to it. So I am happy about that because Robin is a very famous character outside of One Piece. People have heard her name before, so it's I do like that. They
kept it. Yeah, they didn't name drop her till the end. Yeah. Big Sis Slurpy Cube is fucking insane 3 day. I love it. That's his new name forever now. So Big Sis Slurpy Cube, though, I will agree. Lyra Abova, I like to believe too that the turtle boat was there when she jumped off the side of the boat. I was waiting for one of them to mention, why did she sail off on a turtle? Like, I'm glad they didn't show it, but like if they would have mentioned it, I would have lost it. It would have been great.
Yeah.
But getting into Little Garden proper.
Yeah.
The biggest question, what'd you think of the Giants?
I really liked it. In terms of personality, it was good.
Yeah, I thought Brogy's actor, I thought he fell flat for me at first when he was like first introduced. Dory's actor was perfect all the way down from the jump, perfect. But Brogy's. Or no, it was the other way around. Brogy's actor was perfect, yeah. And then Dory, he kind of threw me off at first. I won't lie. But I did enjoy his performance. And then him having the sculptures of Nika, Brogy, and then the silhouette of our boy.
But Loki.
That was so cool.
But I like because that's what that icon between both. One's an extrovert, one's an introvert in a way. The way they at the beginning. So I didn't like that one was so polite, and then you have Brogy saying Lord of Destruction, like it was being so Lord loud. Of Destruction. He was so loud, this kind of stuff, So yeah,
boisterous. And then with like Zoro and Sanji too, they did the way that they introduce the competition between Zoro and Sanji is really good. Because if you guys remember, this is what sets off the whole thing between Zoro and Sanji. This is the catalyst that is what now has been an iconic feud for 20 plus years. So I like that they did put a little bit of focus on that. And then Zoro being attacked by Miss Golden Week was a welcome. Well, I don't believe, did that happen in the manga?
No, yeah, remember he got captured.
Yeah, he did.
It's just they didn't have that whole extra scene with Vivi, Nami, and Zoro where they were still in their effect, you know.
Sophie
that's what they
and
added.
Caruso nailed it as Miss Golden Week. Miss Golden Week's not as terrifying in the manga, but the horror aspect that they brought to her was fucking insane, dude. It was so
not even
well
that.
done.
Not even that is when she explains even her backstory. Says, my parents never understood me, so I had to so I used my pity on them, and then I locked them up. It didn't bother me after 3 days. And you're like, oh, yo, that's dark.
Yeah,
she just unalived her parents. Yeah.
That was.
I want to go back to one thing.
Yeah,
one of the bestest thing in episode two, Inside the World, that I love, Inside the Boom, is when the Straw Hats are just look at Mr. Nine like he's crazy, and they say to Vivi, they look at Miss Wednesday, what's wrong with him? And she says, tragic backstory, which is basically a summary for every character in One Piece.
Yeah, that was super good.
It was fun. Yeah, I wanted to come back to that. Yeah, sorry, but yeah, Miss Golden Week, so good. I did like that they played on that psycho. Because think about it, it makes sense that she's psychotic with her powers that she has. Yeah, it makes sense.
Exactly. And then David Dasmalchian, though, as Mr. 3. Oof. If we ever get impaled down, oh my god, are we gonna be eating good? All we need is now is for Cola Scola, which I think they will. All they need to do is nail Bon Clay, and we're gonna be eating good if we get to impale down. Like, it's gonna be insane. I loved him though. Like he said, I like the whole point he made where he said, the Baroque Works agents tend to forget the Baroque part of our performing, because it's art to him. Murdering people is art to him, and it's like they really captured that sick kind of twisted artist side, that artistry that comes with being a Baroque Works agent through Mr. 3 in this, and I fucking loved it. It was so well done. Him doing the candelabra and wiping off the paint from Zoro and stuff like that. Oh, did I go robotic?
Yeah. I thought it was just on Discord, but no, apparently it's also for everyone else. Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound weird for a second, baby. I should be good. Can you hear me, Cube? Am I robotic still? For you?
Still a bit better, but still robotic.
I had to disconnect from Discord. How do I sound out on that end, audience?
Okay, you're back? Okay, perfect.
Static still through the audience. That's not good.
Wait, try again. Do you have your phone or something that's making a feedback? It almost feels like there's something close to your mic creating a feedback. That's what's weird. Talk again?
Check. 1 second. I'm trying to... Is that better, audience?
Yeah. At least for me, it's almost non-existent. I don't know for the others.
Okay.
Kuso's 3 day. Yeah, Kuso's 3 day. Is it okay? Because it is true that before it was really strong. Sometimes Discord messes up, but not on stream, so that's why I didn't say anything. Because I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, so you're talking about Mr.
Audience.
Sweet and Impel Down.
Well, I want to make sure that it's good for the audience too, real quick, before we continue, because I might have to restart OBS, and if that is the case, that's gonna suck. Sounds like I'm peaking. That's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be better. I might have gotten quieter.
There's still something. It's weird. Like I said, it's for me it's okay. I could understand it completely. It doesn't bother me. but I don't know what's coming on stream.
It is. 1 sec.
You know what? Actually, I have an idea.
It should be good now.
Talk again?
Hello?
Yeah, for me it's good. For me it's really
good for you? Okay. We'll see how it sounds for audience. That's weird. I don't know why it did that. But yeah, Mr. 3. Yes, good. Okay.
Mr. 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. 3.
Yeah, for Mr. 3, I just thought they did him very well. And this episode, once again, it played up really good on the Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine kind of craziness. I thought the whole line about the jacket with Mr. 5 was very on brand for his character. The whole, you can take your jacket off, and he's like, but it's part of my look. Like, that was so good. Yeah,
I liked the Bragi and Usopp storyline. It really encapsulated what Usopp was about, and you also see that you're also selling the whole Elbaf thing for Usopp with Bragi, their connection.
I was just about to say that I think that was the highlight of both these episodes for me, was the moment between Bragi and Usopp where he's like, a brave warrior doesn't go into battle and whatever it is because of fear or whatever. It's in spite of it that he goes. It's the fact that he goes in spite of the fear that makes him a brave warrior or whatever it is. It really sells.
I wouldn't trust someone who says he's never
been afraid. Yeah, exactly. It was so well done. I thought they really nailed the connection between Usopp and Brogy. And like you said, it sets up Elbaf, which is actively happening in the manga right now. I really thought the references to Nika were so good and so well done. Him talking about eating the, Simla in doing it on the holiday of the sun god and stuff like that, and then Nika leaving us a place at the table or something or whatever he says. And it's so well done, man. The way that they're sprinkling in that within the Giants culture it's a very welcome change in my opinion. I also
let's talk about the other Easter egg.
What's
the other Easter egg that I told you about that no one has caught. When Luffy asks a question about Alabasta, and no, and she talks about the palace, and then she says, "And there's a beautiful rooftop garden on my palace that's to die for." And then it makes you think of, where does Emu live on? A rooftop garden. So I did like that breadcrumb. Yeah,
that's interesting because I didn't even put that together.
No, dude, I'm obsessed with that garden.
Yeah,
I'm obsessed with that garden.
That's such a unique line, but like you said, it could definitely be some subtle foreshadowing for the live action people about Emu in the rooftop garden. Exactly. I thought the fight in this episode was pretty good. I was a little sad that Luffy didn't observation hockey like he did in the original and immediately knock out Mr. 3. I get why they didn't do that. Kind of makes it very anticlimactic for the live action only people if he wins the fight immediately like that. But yeah, other than that, like the Mr. 5 defeat, the Miss Valentine defeat, all that, it was really good. Usopp really showed us all.
The unluckies were so well done.
Oh yeah, how did we forget the unluckies? The call with fucking Crocodile was amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I didn't forget it. This is what I want to talk about, so no worries. For me, the unluckies was done so well. And I did like the call with Crocodile. It was like when you hear his laugh, they're like, oh yeah, he nailed the laugh. He
nailed the laugh. Yeah, Joe Manganiello, he went all in on the character, and just you can tell he really, really enjoyed doing this performance. But the unluckies, like you said, were perfect. I didn't like how fast he killed Miss Friday, but Mr. 13 kind of fucked Sanji up for a moment, and that was awesome. And him being like, I killed your pets.
Yeah.
Your pets are dead. But yeah, Little Garden.
And yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, But my only problem is because it was so important in Alabasta. I don't like the fact that what's called. Remember, because in the original story, he is convinced to some extent that they're gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very clear that they survived. That's my one gripe. I would have loved that the Mr. Yeah, well, I can say his name actually. We're all up to date. Crocodile actually thinking that he got rid of the threat.
Yeah.
Just got upset of how long it took.
Yeah, just got upset with how long it took. Yeah, that I would have liked if they kept that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, overall though, I think the Little Garden arc was very well adapted. Very, very well adapted. I was, as a fan of that arc, it's in my top like 14 arcs or whatever. I think it almost cracks the top 10 for me. It was well done. It was very well done, and I'm glad they didn't nerf Usopp's storyline in it. And him.
No,
go ahead.
In terms of the pacing of both Whiskey Peak and Little Garden, I would say that the eyes are as good, and I can see how some people might actually prefer it better than the original.
Yeah. I think the weakest episode of this season for me was actually episode 1, in terms of just everything. That said, though, such a good episode 1. Like that's
for me, it's episode 2, but yeah,
that's it. That's a sign of a good season. If even your worst episode of the season is a good episode, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I was reading some comments.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say for me, it's episode 2.
Yeah,
I think it's the weakest. Even though it's a good episode, it's just
it's just weak.
It's the Laboon stuff inside the Laboon. Let's be honest, it didn't need to take half of the episode.
Yeah, it did. It didn't need to be as long. They could have got the Little Garden a little bit earlier. I feel like.
Yeah,
or Whiskey Peak. I mean,
they did drag it a bit. Yeah.
And they could have spent a little more time in Whiskey Peak, which would have been good because they could have set up the lesson from the Luffy and Zoro fight, which is the way that Luffy captains, which is important for and set up some boundaries as Zoro as first mate. Either way, let's get to the biggest part of the season, shall we? Why I'm here.
Yeah.
Drum Kingdom.
Let's chop down this discussion. Sorry, I had to.
Drum Kingdom was perfect. The Wapol introduction was very well done with Vivi and interweaving her backstory at the Reverie. Seeing like King Beer and all of them was fucking hilarious. I was watching some reactors react to the Reverie scene, and they were like, "Is that Abraham Lincoln?" I was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, that's the Bollywood king, baby."
So there's one thing that bothers me, and that's why I'm wondering if I know Oda gives his green light, but if they could have shot, because the problem is I've always said that it does make it very clear that possibly Wapol's metal jaw comes from his Delphoid or whatever it is. It kind of like I said, he got a proof from Crocodile, unless it's gonna be revealed that that's the case. It's always been the case, but it's just that's a surprise.
Yeah,
so I always thought this because of his Delphoid.
I have to say, Rob Coletti as Wapol's perfect. It made me like, if they get to the post time skip, I want to see this dude at the Reverie. Like, you know what I mean? I need to see this guy come back. So I thought he was great as Wapol. The guy playing Dalton, Taiku, he fucking nailed Dalton perfectly.
Yeah.
And we'll get more of that once we get to Chopper. As you guys know, story of Drum Kingdom, it follows the same story beat. Nami is sick, so they decide to go to the closest island to find a doctor for Nami. They really played into how Nami's sickness affected Sanji and even touched into his backstory a little bit with his mother. Yeah. And I like that. I like that they pulled from the source material. Why would Sanji be? Because they don't want to set up romance between the Straw Hats. That's the hard rule Oda gave them. But why would Sanji be more upset than the others about Nami being sick? His mother was sick as a child. That makes sense. You know what I mean? Like they nailed that perfectly for me. And I like the whole it's been 4 days, and the way they did the Castia, instead of making Emily Red pull up her shirt and have this like gnarly bite or anything, they did the black veins going down her arms, and I thought it was a really good touch. The climb up the mountain was a little underwhelming for me. When he bit Sanji, I got excited and thought he was gonna get, the carrying of the teeth and stuff. It was okay that he threw him up there and everything. But I don't know. Without the lap and stuff, it doesn't feel as monumental or as earned, I guess. But at the same time, the shot of him on top of the mountain with the hand and everything, still just as iconic. It's still hit just as hard, even without the build-up.
Exactly. I do see what you mean, and I do agree that it does remove the removal of the lapin, but the fact that they make such an emphasis that obviously he's made of rubber, and cold and rubber doesn't not the best fit. So I did like the fact that it was a struggle for him, and then him doing the head fake to grab the Sanji
was good.
I think it was so I do think that because it did the emphasis of how much, and you think about it in terms of a live action, going up to a cold mountain, holding someone on your back, it should be an
catching
easy
someone
task.
with your
in
teeth
anime
as well.
Anime makes sense, but I do like they're trying to even though it's live action, it's not real life.
In that podcast,
there's that
with Oda, he said that they're trying to ease people into the wackiness, so I get why they didn't do it. But like I said, him getting to the top was still just as iconic, and then him seeing Heavy Point Chopper for foggily for a second, and the first thing he says is "Help my friends." Very Luffy coded. The leak lady was awesome. But then we get to Nami waking up, right? And Nami wakes up, and there he is, walking there. Our boy, Tony fucking Chopper. Oh my God, can I just say it? Michaela Hoover. Oh my God, did she kill it? This whole interaction with Nami, this first interaction, was so fucking perfect. As a One Piece fan, going in, him hiding backwards, her being like, are you hiding? He's like, yeah, that's why you can't see me. Shut up. It was... I had faith in it, Michaela, especially with all the teasing they did of Chopper before the season, but oh my God, I was not prepared. I was not prepared for how good this was.
And Katie Siegel did the
oh my God, it's
perfect job for Korea. The way she did that switch up, she's helping her. That laugh, but not even that. The moment Nami says, "No, it's okay, I'll just leave," and then suddenly she switched up and put her knife and says, "There's two ways you're leaving here: either healed or dead, not in between." And okay, that's a different type of doctor.
That's it.
So and I do like this could be said about the 2 episodes about Dr. Korea. They play well of her being a doctor, but she lacks Dr. Hiluk's heart. They did a good thing. She is a good person.
They showed it.
She just doesn't have. She doesn't have what's called bedside manners.
Yeah, Q-So, they just dropped, right after we started the stream, they just dropped a behind the scenes with her doing the facial capture stuff. I'm very excited to watch it after. Michaela did do facial capture for Chopper. I have to agree. Katie Seagal, I had complete faith. I kind of, like I said, I cut a huge chunk of the rambling addiction when they announced her casting, of me going off about her. She's one of my favorite actresses of our generation. She's just been a mom and a fucking Cyclops to me my whole life, and seeing her as Kureha was a treat. And I think she nailed it. And to get into it, you had already mentioned in Hero Alert, oh my, this man, Mark Hylick or something like that. It's very close to Hero Alert's last name. He fucking nailed it. That Chopper's backstory was so highly emotional. I was hyperventilating by the end of it. They nailed every aspect of it. Michaela banging on Hero Alert's door. Why are you doing this? I'm still sick. My tummy hurts. My antler. I think they're gonna fall off.
Even their interaction. The person when they talk, and obviously Hero Alert making jokes, those kind of stuff. But then also, what's called when Chopper explains the way that Michaela sold it and says, they shot me because I'm talking, and that's weird. And you're she played that innocence, that innocence of Chopper with it, she did it such a good job.
Yeah, it and like Kusa said in the chat, Oda told them to treat him like a teddy bear, and I think that really sold it. I think Oda had also said that he tried to explain to them the difference between Japanese standards of cute and American standards of cute, and wanted to make sure they approached it in a more Japanese style, which I 100% agree with. They did Chopper so well. His hybrid form, or his human form, his heavy point, I thought that was really good. I'm not gonna lie. It looked a little monstrous, but that's what he's supposed to be. He's not supposed to be cute in that form. People see him like that and they're like, fuck, that's a monster. I
have one gripe about it. It is, obviously it's because we didn't say that much, but because there is that moment where he gets upset to them, when Wapol comes back. Yeah. and he goes at form. His voice is much deeper, obviously because he's upset. I do think it does a disservice because at one point I did think that his heavy point had a deeper voice, like in the anime, a bit.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to the thing. So just the voice thing. But then again, I can understand that you put less money on the budget because if you have to constantly do the different shift of I can understand. It was just because at one point he did have that deep voice, but it could also be because he was upset.
Yeah.
Like I said,
and since we're getting there, like let's talk about the big fights in general. Actually, no. Let's talk about the speech at Drum Castle from Dr. Hurler. Oh my god. Holy shit. Oh my god. Like I said, give this man an enemy. Dalton, though. Even like I said, Ty Kuge's performance as Dalton here. Is it true? Can Drum Kingdom still be saved? Like, holy shit, dude. I was crying so hard, and then him saying, "There's a monster coming. He's my son." Like, oh fuck.
The inhalement when he says, "He's my son." Oh my god.
Oh
Such
my
a good
god. And like I said, Dalton just was perfect, and him saying, what was it? He said, to live, it's what your father would want. And Chopper just looking at him and then grunting and like running off. And like, they nailed it so fucking much, man. And then Kureha, the whole moment too, with him realizing the mushroom was poisonous and that he drank it on purpose because he knew he was going to die and stuff like that. Like, they nailed the Chopper backstory so much that a lot of people had questioned their choice. Like, is it strong enough to end on Drum Island? You were a fool to question that choice. Because Jesus Christ, what a pinnacle to the season. And I'm so excited for those new fans. My mom hasn't made it there yet. She's only on episode 4 right now. And I'm so worried she's going to call me and be like, why would you do this to me? Like, I'm very, very, very happy with how they did Chopper and his backstory. And I couldn't praise it enough. But to get into the fights too, that was actually my only gripe with the fight. Because him and Sanji teaming up against Chess Marumo. Well, Chess and Marumo, but, or Kamario, whatever the fuck his name is. But either way, them teaming up against him, when he does the uppercut on Chess, that was because they did the slow transformation when he does the uppercut, instead of him quickly transforming. If they would have just sped it up a little bit, it would have been fine. But because they made it, like, long and drawn out, it didn't work as well. That said, I loved seeing him team up with Sanji, and then during the fight with Wapol, getting his chance to kind of go be with Luffy and Sanji and Luffy teaming up and doing that. I don't know why they put the party table kick course into this fight, if I'm being honest. They should have saved that for Bon Clay, if I'm being real. I get that's because Taz Skylar really wanted to do it in season 1 and they weren't able to. But I wish they would have saved that move specifically for Bon Clay in that fight.
I get it.
Yeah.
Another thing that we forgot to talk about that happened very early on in the episode is the Reverie flashback with the mention of Queen Otahime, Vivi's great moment as a child, Dalton always remembering that code.
Yeah, but yeah, I would like to touch on it some more. Like you said, the Queen Otahime mention was fucking amazing. Like I said, it gave me chills hearing about it, even if it was coming from Wapol, where he's, the Fishman Queen died and the Fishman Warlord couldn't even do anything about it. Like, just to mention such a good flashback like that, it really, really kind of changes the concept of the story with how close everything is together in that early part.
But there was something that was kind of weird in the Reverie, the kingdom that they created for the live action that doesn't exist in One Piece. It was crazy.
Which one?
It really bothers the kingdom called Leloucia.
Yeah, what was that about?
Yeah.
What the fuck's Leloucia?
Yeah. No, but I will say this: the one thing I really liked as well. Yeah, you understand the thing of the Reverie. Listen, there's one thing I always wondered, right?
Yeah.
Because of now how they did it, right? The way that Vivi eavesdropped, right? I am now wondering if it is possible also in the real story. Like, people have been listening to Reverie meetings constantly without us realizing.
Yeah.
Because we always see the room, but we never see like the full scale of that room. Like, I'm wondering if it's similar to Vivi, where there are places in that where you can actually witness the meeting. That's what made me interesting. It was interesting.
Ooh, yeah, 3-day. Yeah, I agree, Cube. That is very interesting. I do wonder if in the main story we're going to get some eavesdropping on past reveries. But 3-Day brought up the weird monsters. Those are how they exemplified the Munch Munch fruit. So that is all of Wapple's army that he ate and combined. So instead of them going turncoat like they did in the anime and manga, instead he ate them and combined them together. Which was a good touch. I'm not gonna lie, that's a good touch to show like the body horror side of the Munch Munch.
Yeah. I'm still gonna say this: Wapple taking 20 doctors, the way he transformed that is definitely them doing a nub to Emu.
Yeah, the 20 doctors costumes, by the way, looked great. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna look silly, them being in all those pink wardrobe. No, it looks so fucking good.
I mean, yeah, I was not scared for that because those are basically medical scrubs. You've seen Grey's Anatomy, it's like, it's not that. But I see what you mean. They did it good. It is true. That...
before we get off here today, so overall thoughts, anything else you wanted to touch on with season 2 and like things that made you think about?
No. We forgot the biggest moment. The after credit moment between the reveal of Nico Robin's name.
Yes.
With the bounty.
When I saw Child Nico Robin, like I said, I got a buddy that's going through the anime right now, and they just finished Innie's Lobby, Thriller Bark, and all that. And I watched Innie's Lobby with them, like the Robin flashback and stuff. So I just had a refresher on how traumatic that was, and I was already crying from all the Sakura blooming petals and Zoro lifting Chopper up on his shoulders and everything. That I started crying the minute I saw Nico Robin as a child on her bounty poster, while fucking Crocodile's making this big ass speech, and I'm just sitting here like, it was insane. Joe Manganiello
and Joe.
Oh my god,
the crocodile. Yeah, he played so well, Crocodile.
Dude, the laugh once again, he just got that down so much. Once again, if we get the Impel down, we're gonna eat it. Yeah, I can't wait to hear him be like, "It's been a long time, Straw Hat." Like, I cannot wait for that. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be super good. Yeah. Overall, though, I think I'm very satisfied with the live action season 2. Production is already underway for season 3, so we should be getting it next year, from what they're saying. If they can make this a yearly show, I think we could see some real fucking shit within the live action. But they got to get into that yearly schedule. If they take as long as they have been between these seasons, it's gonna fuck up the whole thing. They need to get to shooting this shit. And I think that they have been listening to the fans quite a bit. I mean, look, one of the biggest complaints from live action season 1 was that, Zoro wasn't funny and goofy like he was in pre-time skip, and they rectified that. So hopefully they listen to fans and they know they need to overturn or get a faster return on this and kind of pick up the pace a little bit on filming wise. My biggest complaint about season 2, which I'll be remiss if I don't say this before we get off stream, I feel like Luffy wasn't as prevalent as he should have been. Like in the first 2 episodes he was. In 3 and 4 he kind of just felt like he was there. And then in 5 he just kind of showed up and did a shit. Even in Drum Island, until the stuff with Chopper in like 7, like the end of 7 and 8, it I don't know. I feel like there was a lack of Luffy, which is something that happens in One Piece sometimes. But I think it could be too. They have to reel in Anaki a little bit because Luffy is such a magnanimous character, such a big, larger than life character to portray that Anaki has to be on like 24/7 for him. And I think it's so hard to adapt Luffy into a live action setting that you do have to kind of reel him in a little bit in that context. And they do fill up those gaps where he's missing with the crew really, really well.
I'll also jump in now, and it's because the problem is season 1. Yeah, I think because they did in a way that so episode 1, 2, a lot of Iñaki, right?
Yeah.
3, Iñaki is taking a bigger backpedal compared to Zoro, but it makes sense because that's how Whiskey Peak is. Then 4, 5 makes sense because of the Usopp stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what I like about why it works so well for 6, 7, and 8 as well, because if you actually remember back in Drum Island, him and Sanji and Nami are away from all of the stuff happening in town. They're most of the time in the castle. So that's why I do like that they did that it would have been weird if they did that in Twin Cape.
No, I think they handled it well. Like I said, I just wanted more Luffy this season. You know what I mean?
If you think about it, Sanji and Usopp did not get the shine that they were supposed to get in season 1.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they made up for that 100% in this season.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really connected with Taz, and I think Jacob, if I'm being honest, I'll give him best performance of the entire season. I think he nailed it as Usopp. He nailed it in season 1, even with the little bit of time he had. But like, if anyone had any doubt that he was Usopp, this season should completely solidify him as our Usopp in live action. But yeah, that is it for us today. I hope everyone had a good time. I had a good time talking about this with Cube. The discussion will continue, as always, in our Discord. Make sure you jump in that down below. Guys in chat, yeah, hop in. We'll talk more about it there. Yeah, the 3-day, you really got to get in there and watch the whole thing. But yeah, Angel, yeah, this one took so long because of the strike. I agree. Yeah,
that's why. Yeah, I was gonna talk about it when Angel wrote it. She's right. So yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, we're gonna pop off here today, guys. We will see you all later, and be back later this week for chapter 1177 of One Piece. It's gonna be a good time. QB, you want to say bye to the people?
Yeah, everyone. Nice having you, and don't worry, the manga is returning this week, so excited for that. So yeah, see you guys at our chapter review.
Yep, we'll see you then.
At the end of this week.
Have a wonderful, wonderful night, guys. Bye.